All right, so this is what you've heard about from so many people. This is the intake boot on an M103. Everybody talks about it. You've seen it. I've never seen anyone install it, so today we're installing it. It just so happens that the turbo bends that you can find on our channel, this thing had sort of a boost leak issue, unmetered air going on. We looked at all the other things that it could normally be, vacuum hoses and all that, and it turned out to be this guy. If you got one of these guys still intact after 30 years, you're basically just on the edge of needing to replace it any day. So definitely drop in and replace these things. We're gonna show you how to right now. All right, so you're joining us in progress on the intake boot replacement on the M103 engine. I'm gonna flip it around here to Wayne so you can see what we're working with. It's really not a huge job. It looks a little daunting because of all the CIS injection that's on top of this thing. So you can see over here, we've started taking it apart already, just disconnecting the fuel lines, and here at the injectors, loosening these up. Be super careful here because if these are bound up, they can crunch your injectors and twist them up.
Just be careful on the little pipes coming out of the CIS. They're not that fragile, but they shouldn't be that tight. Just make sure you got the wrench all the way on. Because if you screw up one of those fittings, it's a bad day. And like Ali said, if you twist one of those injectors, you have another bad day. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward and really mechanical. We're not touching any adjustments, anything. We're just taking it off, putting the boot on, putting it back on.
Right, you can see here how much further we have to go. So a couple more disconnects and then we're down to like, this is what, 2, there's 3 or 4 total bolts, and then we're gonna be able to bring this up out of there and replace the boot, which you can just barely see is down there. So this is the boot in question that's getting replaced. This sits underneath the fuel injection system here. And what tends to happen, as you can see here, these are it's a kind of heavy rubber. But when your engine's about 30 years old, this heavy rubber is turning to like brittle plasticky type stuff, and we're assuming that it is cracked and we're going to replace it. Currently this car is having a little bit of issue with holding boost. So we've got a bunch of things here that most people probably won't have to deal with. It's a turbo car, retro turbo. So we've got intake parts that you won't be seeing, and like this sensor back here is inline fuel pressure sensor that you won't see on your car if you haven't added one. Of course, getting down to this position here, you would have removed your air box, which is pretty simple and straightforward. We don't have an air box because we got that snail over there sucking air for us. So we've pulled 10 millimeter bolt, 10 millimeter nut here, and then there's one, I can't quite see it. That's where it used to be, right back here. Okay. All fuel lines are loosened off, and this collar down here, that's a little Phillips head. Loosen that guy off, and then you just give it a good yank. It might take a little bit of wiggling and a yank. I've already given this one a good yank, as you can see. And so now we're just gonna kind of weasel it up and out this way. Wayne is gonna manage this nonsense so that nothing gets hooked. So you probably want 2 people doing this for that reason, just to get this stuff carefully out of the way while you're lifting and pulling this stuff so not to damage or have to bend that stuff. Anyway, good luck to you. I'm just gonna give birth to it, right? And it's out. Hakuna Matata. Circle of life. This is what we're looking at down here. Oh God. Something dropped. But there's all this oiliness. I'm guessing that looks a little bit iffy there. This is the culprit. We're gonna replace it. So this is what we're looking for here. This is the culprit. The reason we were chasing this down, besides the fact that you should just replace these if yours has never been replaced, our car was having trouble with boost, seemed like unmetered air, and sure enough you can see that this is the rip here where the holding edge that's underneath this bracket has just ripped apart over age. And so there you go, unmetered air. That's it, 100%. So hopefully we'll put it back together and this thing will just start tearing down the road again. But this is exactly why you should be replacing yours if you don't know the history of it. I can already tell you the history of it is old. It's old. As you can see here on the underside, it's even worse. This is what I was talking about, is you have the gasket has ripped from the rest of the body, and yeah, it's basically a 5 psi blow off valve.
Yeah, impromptu, unregulated. So good. It's always better to find the problem than think you knew what it was. So we found it.
That's true. You could just throw parts and parts and parts at it. Like, yep. You could throw turbos and wastegates and
wastegate springs and yeah.
We wouldn't do that.
Nah.
Make sure to get the retaining plate well seated in the intake boot. The boot does have a groove all the way around it that mates up nicely with the plate.
What's the torque spec?
All of it.
All of it. Plenty tight. Consult ChatGPT and check thrice. Right?
Right. I'll bet. I'll check it, but I'll bet it's 8 Newton meters.
All right. We're gonna check it.
It wasn't tight coming off.
We're gonna check the Google AI overview versus ChatGPT, because honestly, the AI overview will do you so dirty, but ChatGPT is pretty right on. Except it keeps asking us questions about, like, personal questions, like, do we own these cars? Are we collecting these cars? Or do we just want to collect these cars? Like, that's my business.
I mean, what'd you have for dinner?
Right.
Why do you look like that? It gets a little personal.
Going back into the car, you want to install the elbow that goes to the idle air control valve first, and then reposition the boot.
So on the install here, it's really difficult to get the boot back over the opening here because of the bolts and how they align everything. So we kind of thought, I don't know if you should do this, but this is how we thought to do it. Pop the top of the throttle plate, the inlet plate, and now you can get your fingers in there and just push that boot out over, because it just was not wanting to seat. All right, so honestly, that went super easy, and just after you just push this guy out of the way gently. You don't want to mess that guy up, the plunger. But you just get in there, after you just finger it back lightly, it pops right into place, everything's happy. Couldn't be easier. It took me about 3 seconds to finger that into place, and I think it took Wayne about 5 minutes to open up the bolts, and prior to that I'd spent about 30 minutes cursing at this thing. So I bought this tool from that guy in the blue coat that makes you buy his videos and his tools to work on your shit, and I thought it was going to be totally worthless, but now Wayne is going to use it to put in this bolt in here.
Yeah, it's not made for this, but
it's going to make the $12 worth it.
Right, because I have this.
What? Why are you not using that tool?
Okay.
I paid $12 for that tool from the guy with the blue coat.
Yeah. Who is this guy? I almost bought his tool, and then I didn't.
That guy with the blue coat.
Everybody knows who he is.
He keeps all his tips behind a firewall. Luckily for you guys, we keep our tips out front.
Because
I peer pressured him.
to using it. So just FYI, as I struggle with this tool, as soon as he turns the camera off, I'm putting it on my electric one.
All right, so it's all back together now. It was really a pretty easy job. You just got to take your time, especially when putting it back together. The hard lines for the fuel, those you want to be careful not to get those bent because it makes it really difficult to get them reseated and rethreaded. So we had to battle with that a little bit. Not that we really bent them much, but just take your time, be careful there. Don't want to cross thread anything. And then we actually found that we had a little issue with the boot seating on the underside of the distribution system, and there's a little lip that the boot clicks into, and you probably wouldn't have this problem yourself if you're not running any boost because it would be under vacuum, but we had the boot blow out a little bit in one corner. We ended up pulling it all back out, making sure it was reseated again and putting it back together. We're not sure where that went sideways, but that was what we experienced. Took the car back out, tested it, felt great, so happy. Definitely worth doing. Took us, I would say, hour and a half, and the second time we did it, I think we probably did it in an hour. So maybe the third time's the charm, hoping not for a third time. Hopefully that was helpful to you. It's just kind of a quick and dirty video. As we were doing the job, I realized that there really wasn't any video out there to help anyone do the job. It's not that hard to figure out how to do it, but it's always nice to have reference from someone who has done it. So again, this is just a reference, but there, it's for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it worked well for you. If you're a German car enthusiast, check out other things on our channel. It's not all repairs, but it is a lot of German car stuff. We're just having fun and tinkering. And if you're into that, maybe subscribe, maybe like this video, maybe tell your friends. Anyway, we'll catch you all on the next one.